Welcome to Robots versus Vampires. Ready for another daily dose of the unexpected?
Always.
Well, today we're diving into some epic sci-fi and fantasy tales, the kinds of stories that really make you question what's possible. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, those stories where you're like, wait, could that actually happen?
Exactly. And we're lucky enough to have some really awesome listeners who send in these incredible narratives.
Each one's just a wild ride.
So our mission, if you choose to accept it, is to explore these fantastical scenarios, tease out those hidden truths, and maybe, just maybe, unlock some insights into the world around us.
Sounds like a plan.
Okay, first up is The Arcanist's Heir, a story we're calling Spellbound and Shelved for today's deep dive. It's about a teen inheriting an old bookstore, but not just any bookstore. This one's got, let's say, unique inventory.
Inventory is one way to put it.
So?
This bookstore is packed with portals to other realities, hidden amongst the dusty shelves.
I mean, come on, who hasn't dreamt of finding a magical portal in a library?
Right. But for this protagonist, it's less of a dream and more of a what did I get myself into situation.
Totally. It's that sudden shift from the ordinary to the utterly unbelievable that really grabs you. Imagine you're dealing with the usual teen drama, maybe trying to figure out college applications, and bam, you stumble upon an interdimensional vortex where an armchair should be.
Talk about a reality check.
And her reaction is just perfect, so real. She sees this swirling void and thinks, great, now I'm officially crazy. It's that kind of grounded, sarcastic humor that makes the fantastical almost relatable, you know?
Oh, definitely. It's like, even faced with the impossible, our brains try to make sense of it. And that little touch of humor helps us, the readers, connect with her experience.
Exactly. It's not like she instantly becomes a fearless, magic-wielding hero. She's skeptical, a little freaked out, just like any of us would be.
Absolutely. It makes her journey all the more believable. And then there's her first encounter with a magical creature, and it is just so brilliantly absurd.
Oh, you mean when that gargoyle-like thing pops out of the portal?
Yeah. And she grabs the nearest thing to defend herself, an encyclopedia of useless facts. A giant, dusty book. What does that tell you about thinking on your feet?
That you gotta use what you've got. Who knows? Maybe those useless facts will come in handy against a magical beast.
You never know. It's like the ultimate test of resourcefulness. But it also makes you think, if this teen can use an outdated encyclopedia as a weapon against the supernatural, what could we pull off in our own unexpected situations?
It's empowering in a weird way, right? But the story gets even weirder with the bookstore's other customers. You have this woman with a shimmering lizard buying a potion for warts, a guy with mismatched eyes haggling over an amulet that's probably cursed.
It's like the author took all these ordinary annoyances and gave them a magical twist. It's such a cool way of world building.
Absolutely. It's like, yeah, even in a world of magic, people still deal with everyday problems. Makes it feel so real. And then enter Reese, described as tall, dark, and broody. You know, the classic mysterious character trope.
Of course. It's like the author is setting the stage for some romantic tension and maybe a bit of danger. Those kinds of characters can really shake things up for the protagonist.
Oh, totally. It's a classic for a reason, right? Always keeps us guessing. And speaking of guessing, Lucy's first attempt at magic is hilarious. She tries this basic warding for dummy spell chalk circles, chanting the whole 9 yards. Let's just say it didn't quite go as planned. More of a fizzle than a bang.
That's actually really refreshing. She's not instantly a master of the mystic arts.
Nope. She's just like us, fumbling through new experiences, making mistakes, and that's what makes her journey so engaging. But then things get serious when Rice reappears. This time he's brought some spooky shadow creatures with him, and guess what?
Let me guess. Her warding for dummy spell wasn't quite up to the task.
Not even close. It's a total oh crap moment, and it forces Lucy to step up in a big way. Forget the beginner guides. It's time to dive into the occult defensive section.
I love how she goes from cautious newbie to embracing her powers out of necessity. It's like the classic hero's journey, accelerated by a whole lot of shadow creatures.
Totally. It's like sometimes you just got to jump in head first. And speaking of jumping in, the story takes a wild turn when she accidentally smashes this hideous porcelain dragon, right? Seems like a minor detail, but...
It triggers a new vortex. And out steps a powerful antagonist shrouded in shadows. Suddenly, those weird bookstore customers don't seem so random anymore.
Nope, they're all connected to this whole magical power play and this shadowy figure. She's after the grimoire, a book described as the key to power you couldn't possibly comprehend. the stakes just got way higher.
It's always a game changer when you introduce an artifact that powerful. It adds another layer of mystery and danger, and you're just left wondering what kind of chaos this grimoire could unleash.
But here's the thing, Lucy doesn't back down. In a moment of pure brilliance, she bluffs the sorceress, telling her they're all out of grimoires, and somehow it works.
Talk about thinking on your feet. It's like she instinctively tapped into a hidden well of strength and outmaneuvered a seriously powerful sorceress.
It's a reminder that sometimes wit and audacity can be more powerful than any spell. So much for needing years of magical training, right?
Right. It shows that anyone can rise to the occasion, even when faced with seemingly impossible odds.
All right, let's move on to the second story you sent. The Minstrel's Secret, or as we're calling it for this deep dive, Harp of Chaos. It's a fascinating exploration of the power of music, but in this case, music isn't just entertainment, it's mind control.
Oh, yeah. This one gets deep into the idea that music can influence emotions, behavior, even thoughts. It takes that concept and cranks it up to 11.
Definitely, and it doesn't shy away from the darker side of that power. The story starts in a tavern where our bard is playing his usual tunes. But then something strange happens. The whole crowd falls silent, their eyes glazed over like they're in a trance.
That's got to be unsettling for the bard, realizing that his music is having that effect on people.
Absolutely. He's terrified, but there's also a bit of exhilaration there. It's like discovering you have this incredible but potentially dangerous ability, and then things escalate when a blacksmith suddenly snaps and attacks someone.
Yikes. That's a pretty clear sign that the harp he's playing is more than just a musical instrument.
Oh, yeah. It's like this ancient, powerful artifact that's just been waiting to be unleashed. And as he starts experimenting with darker, more intense melodies, he realizes the extent of its control. The harp can induce obedience, even submission, in anyone who hears it.
That's where the chaos part of Harp of Chaos comes in. This much power in the wrong hands could be devastating.
Absolutely. And speaking of the wrong hands, enter the antagonists. A shadowy group, a serpent cult, instantly drawn to the harp's power. You just know their motives are not good.
The serpent imagery is a great touch, too. Very symbolic, hinting at their manipulative nature and desire for control.
Totally. And when they confront the bard, he doesn't fight them with swords or magic. He uses music, but not the beautiful melodies you might expect. He fights back with discordant, chaotic sounds.
That's such a cool concept. It's like he's weaponizing chaos, using sound to disrupt their organized magic.
It makes you wonder, what other unconventional ways could we fight back against control or manipulation? It doesn't always have to be a physical battle, right?
Right. Sometimes the most effective weapon is the one that disrupts expectations. And this experience leads the bard on a journey to a place called the Bardic College of Silverstring, a whole college dedicated to arcane music. How cool is that?
So cool. It's like Hogwarts for bards. He knows he needs guidance, training, to understand and control this powerful instrument before it controls him.
It's a classic quest for knowledge, but with a musical twist. He's gone from simple entertainer to a warrior wielding a potentially dangerous melody.
He's not just playing music anymore, he's shaping reality with it. It's a powerful reminder that we all have the potential to evolve, to become something more than we ever thought possible.
Sometimes it just takes a little chaos to push us in the right direction.
Now, hold on to your hats, because the final story, Zombie Regency, is a wild one. We're calling it Parasols and Pistols for today's deep dive. And it's just what it sounds like. Zombies in Regency, England.
Regency, England, with a side of brain-eating mayhem.
And our heroine, Lady Eleanor, a debutante who'd rather fight the undead than attend another stuffy ball. Talk about subverting expectations.
Oh, this story plays with those classic tropes so well. It's like, what happens when you take the manners and elegance of the Regency era and inject a healthy dose of zombie apocalypse?
Pure genius. It's hilarious and thought-provoking all at the same time. So Lady Eleanor is already bored with her society life. She actually wishes for something exciting to happen. Be careful what you wish for, right?
Talk about an answer to your prayers. But when the zombie outbreak begins, her reaction is surprising. She's not screaming, she's not fainting. She's actually kind of fascinated.
Well, her eccentric father, a naturalist, apparently filled their library with books on all sorts of bizarre subjects. She's got a whole mental framework for understanding reanimated corpses.
So instead of panicking, she goes into problem-solving mode.
Yeah.
It's like her upbringing, as unusual as it was, prepared her for this moment.
It's like she's thinking, okay, zombies, I've read about this, let's get to work. And it turns out, dear old dad was more than just a bookworm. He also had a secret stash of weapons. Pistols, swords, all hidden away.
That's like finding out your grandpa was a secret agent. Makes you wonder what else he was prepared for.
I know, it's like he knew something the rest of society didn't. And when the zombies attack, Eleanor doesn't hesitate. She grabs those pistols, and it's like watching a Regency-era action hero come to life. The story describes her curtsies being as precise as her aim. I love that.
It's brilliant. She's this perfect blend of grace and deadly accuracy. And of course, society is scandalized. A lady wielding weapons. Unthinkable. But some are secretly intrigued, too.
Of course. Who wouldn't be a little bit impressed? Even Lord Ashford, the classic romantic interest, is drawn to her courage, even though he tries to protect her. But Eleanor's having none of it.
I bet she put him in his place.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
She basically tells him she has an apocalypse to deal with, no time for damsel in distress nonsense. She's a woman on a mission.
She's not waiting for a prince to save her. She's saving herself and probably everyone else, too.
Exactly. She's got bigger things to worry about than societal expectations. But imagine living that double life, attending elegant balls by day, slaying zombies by night. It's exhausting, but also kind of brilliant.
And it works to her advantage. Her reputation for being eccentric becomes the perfect cover for her zombie hunting activities.
Exactly. It's like the ultimate disguise. And then the story takes another turn when the queen herself gets involved. Turns out the crown knew about the zombie threat all along, but they were completely unprepared. Talk about government incompetence.
Sounds about right. But their solution, they offer Eleanor a position as their not-so-secret weapon. Talk about a promotion.
From debutante to zombie slayer for the queen. It's like something out of a fantasy novel, but with a historical twist. And the best part, Eleanor accepts. She's finally found a purpose that goes beyond the confines of her society.
It's a fantastic ending. She's embraced her true self and found a way to make a real difference in this crazy, mixed-up world.
So there you have it. 3 incredible stories, each one blending the familiar with the fantastical in ways that are both entertaining and thought-provoking. We've got interdimensional bookstores, mind-controlling music, and zombie-slaying debutantes. What's not to love?
It's a reminder that the boundaries of reality are much more fluid than we often think. And who knows, maybe there's a little magic hiding just beneath the surface of our own everyday lives.
What resonated most with you today? Did the idea of hidden worlds intrigue you? Or did the exploration of power, whether magical or musical, spark your imagination?
It's fascinating to think about how we'd react if faced with these extraordinary events. Would we embrace the challenge, like our protagonist did? Or would we crumble under the pressure?
These stories really do make you wonder what unexpected possibilities might be lurking just around the corner. What if the mundane held a secret just waiting for us to discover it?
It's a reminder to stay curious, stay open to the unexpected, and maybe, just maybe, be prepared to fight off a zombie or two with whatever's at hand.
Keep those fantastic stories coming. We'll be back tomorrow for another deep dive into the amazing world of robots versus vampires.